What's going on, movie fans? Welcome to MovieRounders.com, and this is going to be our review of Midway. Bethany, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I like war movies. I like history movies. Love the cast for this. Everybody did a really good job. If I'm entertained the whole time, I'm good to go. I meant to double check on some of the historical accuracies of it, but I didn't get around to doing it. But overall, I feel like it was pretty solid. It got most of the things right. It was good. The cast was solid. Good interactions, good chemistry between them. Had some really good, like, punch in the gut moments with certain characters and results and things like that. That, I mean, if you probably knew about them, I don't know if those were like creative license liberties or something that they took just to get those punch in the gut moments, or if those were actual things that happened. I should do more research on that. But overall, yeah, I thought it was a solid movie. Good entertainment.
All right, Tony, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I just recently visited the World War II Museum in New Orleans, and I got to see the kind of the hard-nosed documentary version of it, and it's amazing if you ever get a chance to visit that, to see it from that side of it. It's pretty wild. They have it designed where you actually follow real-life characters through the war, and then it touches in the Midway and does a bunch of stuff. So pretty neat. This was obviously a glamorized, cinematic version of it to be interesting for the movie time. But they did try to give you some backstory in the characters. They did try to get you connected to them some. It still felt superficial a little bit. I'm a big proponent of the graphics have to feel real. A lot of this felt like graphics that you would see in a game level kind of stuff. At least at the beginning. And by about 50% through the movie, I'd gotten acclimated to it, and I could actually start enjoying the story and not paying so much attention to it. But first, it kept pulling me out of the story every time I saw some of the lower end style of the graphics. But it finds its stride, I think, around the middle of the second act, and it punches hard all the way through the third act. So to me, it was a good story. I came away and I enjoyed it.
Daniel, what'd you think?
Well, I wasn't really a fan of the movie. I mean, I wanted to. I tried to come in with an open mind, but I feel like it was kind of, historically accurate, yes. I felt that was like spot on. I love that, and I appreciate, and I'm not knocking any kind of military stuff. I love our veterans and our people that served in the war and did it and got us through that conflict and saved us, thank God. And now that we're all that, yes. Not knocking that, but the movie, I just wasn't feeling it, because I felt like the dialogue was just kind of like, we've got the historical events, now we got to make some dialogue, and then they throw, what were these people doing on a day-to-day basis? How you doing and everything? Oh God, I feel bad. My friends died, all that. To me, it was just kind of dialogue like laid on top of the events. I thought it was very, it could have been better. And I don't know, I don't even know what that story could have been, but I felt like the story could have been better. I think that maybe should have focused on one or two people. It was like, about 20 people that were being focused on dialogue. I got confused during it, like I got mixed up and jumbled up, and at some point I was just like, I thought it was over, but it kept going, and I was just like, what is this? So I don't know.
I think that was a good thing. If they would have not had quite so many people, and then really focused on maybe 3 or 4 of them instead of 8 or 9 of them, it would have been a little bit better. They wouldn't have felt so superficial on the characters, and you'd have been a little more invested in it, I think. Yeah.
So I'm right there on that level too, because I feel like they had a lot of characters, and they were trying to give each of them their moment to shine in the film. Yeah. And to me, these type of films work out a lot better as documentaries, where you can dive into each character and show exactly what they did for each part. This year, you put it on the big screen, you show the big boom, boom, boom from the planes and all that. Half the time, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know whose plane was whose, and I'm like, is that the Japanese? Is that American? I'm so confused. Who's shooting who? But I'm not your war movie person. I went in with an open mind, tried to enjoy it. But to me, these movies do a lot better as documentaries, where you can flesh out each single person, exactly what they contributed to those different parts. And this year just was a glorified Hollywood blockbuster type thing to me. So I didn't really care too much for it. So Bethany, what would you rate this out of 10?
Out of 10, that's 6.7.
6.7.
Yeah, it's not the best. Obviously, I enjoyed it. I'm a simple person. If you keep me entertained the whole time, if I'm not feeling like I need to check Snapchat or see how much time's left in the movie, I'm happy with it. Yeah. But it's not the best. It could have been better. Like, I agree with that. Like, I think if they had focused more just on Best, McCluskey, Nimitz, and like just those three, and then like everyone else was kind of being secondary because there were secondary characters that were main characters, but not.
Yeah.
And so that it was
kind of like what Aaron Eckhart's character does, where he goes and does a
Oh,
thing
yeah,
in Tokyo, and then you don't see him for the rest of the movie. And
Yeah.
you're like, what was that for?
Yeah, that's just to throw the Doolittle raid in there and remind us like this happened on our way to Midway. So so I get a 6.7, maybe a 7 overall. Yeah.
All right. Tony?
I agree with what you're saying. It was, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it felt a little superficial. It's hard to kind of try and knock something that's covering such an important thing from our history. But I give it about a 7, maybe a 7.5. I mean, like I said, I was really worried about the quality of the graphics. It ended up being not too bad once you got used to it. And and there were some pretty epic scenes in there. There were some scenes where they spent their budget here, and this is real. Looks really good. And the other scenes you're like, whoa. I mean, it really looked almost 2D graphics compared to 3D on some of the stuff they did. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I think I give it a 7.5.
All right, Daniel.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed it a lot, but then I just couldn't get into it. I kept coming out of it with the graphics and stuff like that. But I don't know. The dialogue was not. I wasn't really crazy about the story. I mean, I tried. I tried really hard. But
what would you rate it?
I'm gonna have to go with a solid 3. So
3.
Yeah.
3.
I mean, I'm not knocking anything. I promise you. I'm not that person. But the story just wasn't there for me.
Okay.
Daniel would rather have the love story with Ben Affleck and Kate Beckinsale and Josh
Different
Hart
strokes
and Pearl
for different
Harbor.
folks.
Yeah. If they could have just focused on Dick Best, I would have been cool with it. Like I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna go with a 5 out of 10. Go right there at halfway, Midway, if you will. So that's about what I'm gonna go with. Like I said, I'm not your war movie guy, so don't take my opinion to heart. But have you seen the movie? Are you gonna go see the movie? If you've seen it, let us know in the comments below what you thought. As always, visit us here at MovieRounders.com, where we review the movie and you control the camera.